A KBOI2 weather alert. Melting snow means rising waters.
That is crazy.
The warning for homeowners near the Snake River.
A kidnapping and a deadly crash. The chain of events police are trying to sort out.
The state of the state. Governor Otter's plans for education in Idaho.
This is KBOI 2 News at 5:30.
That is crazy.
Yes, it is. A weather alert for the Treasure Valley and beyond. This video shows the power of the rising Snake River.
What you're seeing here is a tree being toppled from its roots. The Snake River has risen at least 2 feet today in Payette County. Tonight we have live team coverage of the meltdown, including flooding dangers.
But first, let's get right over to KBOI2's Roland Stedham for a look at what's coming up next.
Brent and Natalie, what we're seeing is yet the leading edge already of the next storm that's approaching southwestern Idaho. It looks like we're already seeing some snow developing out of Malheur County that's working its way into the Owyhee. So the extremely active weather pattern is the primary forecast issue that we're going to be seeing here over the next couple of days. And you can see it right there. So this is the Owyhees. Here's Malheur County. Now this storm system trails all the way back down into northern California. So periods of snow in the forecast. We don't have any real winter storm warnings or winter weather advisories in effect for the Treasure Valley itself. But a winter storm warning is in effect for the mountains to the north and to the northeast of us through 5 p.m. on Wednesday. The mountain valleys, for example, the Garden Valley, Idaho City, these areas could see approximately 8 to 15 inches of new snow, and the higher elevations of the mountains will see approximately 1 to 2 feet of snow, courtesy of these next storms that are headed this way. So temperature readings outside right now, 37 degrees in Boise, 40 degrees in Nampa. It is 35 degrees in Caldwell, and finally 40 degrees in Ontario. This is the satellite imagery, and as I zoom out, notice how we have not only this system that's moving in tonight and tomorrow, but there's yet a second storm that's on the way on its heels, and that's what comes in here on Wednesday. Overnight lows tonight dropping down to 30 degrees with a high temperature tomorrow of 37 degrees. It's probably going to start out as snow in the morning and then change over to a rain-snow mix or rain showers in the valley by tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. I'll have much more on the drier weather that's finally headed this way coming up in just a few minutes.
The Payette County Sheriff's Office is issuing a flood warning for those living near the Snake River. KBOI2's Amika Osumi shares which homeowners are in the most danger.
I'm here in the heart of the area where the sheriff's office says is in the most danger of flooding. And as you can see behind me, this property is already very flooded with water. Those fences are completely underwater. Now let me show you the house on this property. Though it's only a few feet away from the flooded water, the homeowners say they aren't too worried because it is on higher ground.
Just come to look at the ice jam to see how high the river's rising. Have some property north of here and just worried about it a little.
Ross Hendricks is not alone. Today, the Payette County Sheriff's Office issued a warning to people who live very close to the river, telling them to prepare for evacuation if the flooding continues. This morning, the water level had risen 2 feet, but now it's risen even more.
10 a.m., we were alerted to the fact that the water level was about to crest over the bank and begin flooding residences in Payette County along the Snake River. Those water levels have continued to increase throughout the day, and the residences are now in danger of being flooded.
Lieutenant Creech says though evacuation is not mandatory, they have notified residents in person and on the phone to let them know their property is in danger. He says ice may back up on the Payette River as well, which would affect Payette residents if it starts flooding. He says those that live by river should pay close attention to water levels. Live in Payette County, Amika Osumi, KBOI 2 News.
Several communities have made emergency declarations. Gem County and the city of Emmett did so this morning. Yesterday, it was the city of Caldwell. The declarations get them access to additional resources to help with all the snow and ice.
Weiser School District has extended its school closures through Wednesday. The superintendent now says classes will resume on Thursday. So far, Weiser is the only district with a planned closure. Head to our website, KBOI2.com, for a look at all of the latest updates. We'll have the closures as they come in.
Heavy, wet snow and ice are proving to be too much for some structures around the Treasure Valley. This amazing video is from Horseshoe Bend. There it goes. It's a collapsing barn. It collapsed under the winter weight. 2 tractors were inside this barn. Fortunately, though, the owners removed the tractors just before it came crashing down.
Tonight, I-84 is back open in eastern Oregon. Let's take a look west of Ontario from earlier today. Snow and ice closed it for much of the weekend. If you are traveling in this direction, be aware of those chain-up laws. Be sure to carry them because requirements can change with the conditions. Parts of Highway 21 are still closed. The stretch known as Avalanche Alley, between Grand Jean and Stanley is shut down, and no word on when it will reopen.
No snow day today for Boise State students. New at 5:30, KBOI2 Sierra Ashwin is live in the newsroom with how the university prepared to get the semester started on time.
A spokesperson for Boise State says employees dedicated over 35,000 hours to cleaning up campus, so classes could start on time this morning. The university hired contractors to work around the clock, removing snow, clearing slush, and unblocking storm drains before the semester began. Yesterday's storm caused a few issues for some of the buildings, but officials weren't able to move classes around, so there weren't any problems for the students. The spokeswoman says there are still a few pools of water around campus, but she says there haven't been any major reported issues. Reporting live in the newsroom, Sierra Ashwin, KBOI 2 News.
And cleanup crews are busy at Nampa's City Hall. Comes after workers came in this morning to find offices flooded. The director of building safety says a broken storm drain caused water to clog up on the roof. Crews with a pump truck are working to suck out that water out of the leaking roof drain. In the meantime, others are trying to unclog the ice from the storm drain. Employees are still working today. They have makeshift desks throughout City Hall, but some of the equipment is in fact damaged.
I think it probably took out a couple monitors, a few desktop scanners, probably about 4 of the computers that were sitting on the floor, because we had about an inch of water over about 1,000 square feet. So
the building safety manager expects that it will take a whole week to dry out, clean out those carpets, and fix the ceiling. Planning and zoning, the department most affected by this, will still be in service today and throughout the week.
Investigators in eastern Oregon are trying to figure out what led to a deadly head-on collision. Oregon State Police says it all started when a woman called them saying that she was witnessing a woman being stabbed. When officers arrived, they saw a pickup truck drive away. They gave chase. It then collided head-on with another vehicle, killing one person and injuring the other. Another woman was found dead inside the pickup truck. Presumably, it was a stabbing victim. In a press conference today, Malheur County's district attorney applauded investigators for their work.
I was a witness to their efforts, their hard work, their sensitivity in the nature of the situation, their fast-acting choices and decisions about gathering evidence and doing the things that police officers are highly trained to do.
Now, the road was closed for about 6 hours during that investigation. Anthony Montwheeler, the person who police say was driving the pickup, is being treated at the hospital. No other names have been released.
The 2017 Idaho legislature got started today, with the highlight being Governor Butch Otter's State of the State speech. Scott Logan was at the State House. He's here live in the studio.
It was a short speech for what's expected to be a short session. And true to his word, Governor Otter is making education his top priority. The governor is proposing a 4.6% increase in the state's overall budget, roughly a $189 million funding bump. More than 60% of that would go toward education, including more spending for teacher salaries and higher education facilities. And Otter says focusing on education is vital for the state's future.
More of our people are at work today than at any time in Idaho's history. And wages are rising slowly but surely, along with employer demand for more skilled workers. Meeting that demand is among our most serious challenges.
But the governor made no mention of any plan to address the state's lack of transportation funding, nor did he give a detailed tax cut proposal. Both topics are expected to be debated by Idaho lawmakers as they spend the next few months setting the state's budget. The governor told reporters after his speech that the state is already working on a plan for the expected repeal of President Obama's Affordable Health Care Act. Governor Otter says the idea would be to move back into the private sector for health care insurance. Live in the studio, Scott Logan, KBOI 2 News.
Thank you, Scott. New at 5:30, a teacher who is also an astronaut received Idaho's first Medal of Achievement. Governor Otter presented the honor to Barbara Morgan today after the State of the State address. This is Idaho's highest civilian honor. Morgan became the first teacher to travel to space back in 2007.
Well, some are shoveling all of the snow, others are out skiing in it.
Coming up on KBOI 2 News at 5:30, find out how the historic storms are helping the mountains thrive this season.
And those mountains are definitely going to be seeing even more snow over the next couple of days. In fact, already the next round is on the way. That's that white stuff you see on the radar. My complete forecast is coming up next.
Today's market report is sponsored by Edward Jones Financial Advisors with more than 50 offices in the Treasure Valley. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
And here's a look at today's market report. As you can see, Apple is up, CenturyLink, Hewlett-Packard, IDACORP, all down.
You're watching KBOI 2 News at 5:30.
Well, did you hear that Bogus Basin could receive more snow than Brundage at Tamarack? It's happened. KBOI 2's Sierra Oshrin is back with a snow update for the mountains.
Well, the mountains are looking great after a series of storms hit this weekend. Bogus Basin received around 7 inches of fresh new powder. A spokeswoman for the mountain says yesterday's rain didn't cause any issues and that it quickly turned to snow late last night. Now up at Brundage, they received a little bit of freezing rain overnight, which caused them to open up 30 minutes late this morning. They also lost power yesterday, but fortunately not for long. The mountain just bought a new power backup system, which they say is already paying off. With more storms in the forecast, Brundage is expecting another couple of inches tomorrow and Wednesday. Reporting live in the newsroom, Sierra Oshrin, KBOI 2 News.
Now, all this snow and ice means most people are out shoveling. Our own Roland Stedham is no exception. Here's a video that he shot.
But that's not snow.
I know, that's ice.
That's ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is heavier, I know, and you're a man because you can lift it up with a shovel.
No, that's not the point. What's the point of this? The point of the video is, number one.
I'm getting seasick for one thing.
We have an ice cam that I mounted onto the snow shovel, but point number two, that's the ice that I chiseled. That's not snow, folks. That is pure ice that I chiseled away from at least the top 1/4 of my driveway. That's amazing. That was from the ice storm yesterday that we had. And some areas were as deep as 3 inches.
And next you'll come clear my driveway.
No, thank you. Okay, that was enough for me. When you can't use any power tools to clear the driveway, something's just wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Because you bought a snowblower, right?
This is the year. This is definitely the year of the snowblower. Yeah. Okay. And the year of the 4-wheel drive. Let's talk about some weather, shall we? Because the next storm is already starting to make its presence known here in the southwestern part of the state, and also more snow likely around the 1st of next week.
And it looks like this time around the mountains are going to get a lot more snow than we are in the valley.
Yeah, because the snow levels are going to want to rise as the warm front moves through. And so the mountains continue to get snow
and we get
with the
rain.
warm front, and then that's when we start getting the rain,
okay.
Theoretically.
Thank you. Yeah. President Obama will give his final speech to the nation tomorrow in Chicago. He's expected to highlight his successes, everything from improvements in the economy to progress in equal rights. One claim his top aides are making is that his administration has been scandal-free. Is that accurate? Christine Frizzell takes a look at some things they seem to have forgotten.
Mr. and Mrs. Salahi.
Some will look back and remember the parties, the naughty ones thrown for DEA agents and paid for by drug cartels, and the lavish ones by the General Services Administration, paid for by U.S. taxpayers. Some may look back and remember long wait times, like the thousands who logged onto the Obamacare website healthcare.gov but weren't able to sign up.
Click on the individual's plan. So yes, we have an error.
Long wait times also central to the scandal at the VA, where veterans around the country waited months or even years for medical care.
If you are delaying people access to care, then you're potentially putting their life at risk. That's what you're doing.
It led to the resignation of VA Secretary Eric Shinseki. Another scandal that resulted in the resignations of multiple people unfolded here. The IRS was accused of unfairly targeting the tax-exempt status of conservative groups back in 2010. Overseas in Benghazi, Libya, an attack on the U.S. consulate there, which resulted in the deaths of 4 Americans and what many viewed as a cover-up by the State Department and the Obama administration.
Well, the president at the time was running on a campaign slogan that said, bin Laden is dead, GM is alive. That campaign slogan doesn't work too well if al-Qaeda just murdered a U.S. ambassador on the anniversary of 9/11.
Questions remain about other incidents as well. The return of Army deserter Bo Bergdahl in exchange for 5 Taliban commanders, Secretary of State Clinton's private email server, and reports of unprecedented government monitoring of journalists like Fox News Channel's James Rosen and the Associated Press. As President Obama's tenure in the White House comes to an end, the impact of some scandals lives on. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Still to come, some homeowners are getting a visit from firefighters.
If you have a news story you'd like us to check out, let us know. Send us an email right now, news@kboi2.com.
And now here's your primetime lineup for this Monday night. We started off with a couple hours of great comedies, then Scorpion at 9. Don't forget to join us again for our news at 10.
You're watching KBOI 2 News at 5:30.
Well, isn't this nice? Look at this. The Eagle Fire Department is going above and beyond to help neighbors affected by our winter weather. The department tweeted this photo of crews shoveling a sagging awning for an elderly resident.
Aww.
They also posted this photo with the caption, you know, when your shovel isn't quite long enough, you improvise. Pretty fun. Nice job to all the firefighters, and thanks for helping everyone out.
Great job. And Roland's back with another look at what's going to be happening tonight.
That's the one thing about this adversity. It's brought out so much good in people. We've seen so many kind acts. Well, the snow is going to be commencing again tonight. 30 degrees will be the starting point in the morning. It could be at any time a rain-snow mix, but personally I feel like it's going to be snow in the first half of the day, which could change over to rain later in the day.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us. Jeopardy is coming along next.
We'll see you at 10 with a look at how the melting snow is damaging buildings. See you then.
Take the news with you on the radio. News Talk 670 KBOI. And for news and information 24 hours a day, click on KBOI2.com.